Welcome everybody. My name is Marcel. This is Irnieracing News. Today's top story, March 29th, 2024, is resigning in protest over Israel. Another State Department official has resigned over U.S. support of Israel. In a letter published to CNN, Anel Shilin says that the Biden administration is, quote, is directly enabling what the International Court of Justice has said could plausibly be a genocide in Gaza. End quote. Here is an excerpt from her letter, guys. Whatever credibility the United States had as an advocate for human rights has almost entirely vanished since the war began. Members of civil society have refused to respond to my efforts to contact them. Our office seeks to support journalists in the Middle East, yet when asked by the NGOs if the U.S. can help when Palestinian journalists are detained or killed in Gaza, I was disappointed that my government didn't do more to protect them. 90 Palestinian journalists in Gaza have been killed in the last 5 months, according to the Committee to Protect Journalists. That is the most recorded in any single conflict since the CPJ started collecting data in 1992. By resigning publicly, I am saddened by the knowledge that I likely foreclose a future at the State Department. I had not initially planned a public resignation because my time at State had been so short. I was hired on a 2-year contract. I did not think I mattered enough to announce my resignation publicly. However, when I started to tell colleagues of my decision to resign, the response I heard repeatedly was, quote, please speak for us, end quote. Shalene's resignation is going viral. She is the third government official to publicly resign after Josh Paul, who resigned in October, and Tariq Habash, who resigned in January. Will it matter? It doesn't seem to. The State Department responded to a UN report on human rights in Gaza saying that it is biased and the report is anti-Semitic. And here we go over at news at antiwar.com. The State Department smears author of UN rights report accusing Israel of genocide as anti-Semitic. The State Department on Wednesday suggested the author of the UN human rights report that says they are reasonable grounds to believe Israel is committing genocide is anti-Semitic as a way to dismiss the allegations. Yeah, we've all seen this before. Oh, those truckers are racist. The author of the report, Francesca Albanese, UN Special Rapporteur to the occupied Palestinian territories, presented it to the UN Human Rights Council on Tuesday. Quote, Israel has committed 3 acts of genocide with their requisite intent, causing seriously serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about the physical destruction in whole or in part, and imposing measures intended to prevent birth within the group, Albanese said. State Department spokesman Matt Miller was asked about the report and said the U.S. has for a long-standing period of time opposed the mandate of this special reporter, and accused Albanese of having a, quote, history of anti-Semitic comments. And here is on X. State spoke was asked about UN Special Rapporteur report in Gaza, which said there's reasonable grounds that there is a threshold met for genocide. Hey, let's listen.
So let me ask you, did you see or read the report made by Francesca Albanese yesterday in Geneva, where she what she showed was irrefutable, as far as she's concerned, irrefutable evidence that Israel engaged in genocide. Did you see the report? What is your comment on it?
I did see the report. Let me say a couple things about it. First, we have for a long-standing period of time opposed the mandate of this special rapporteur, which we believe is not productive. And when it comes to the individual who holds that position, I can't help but note a history of anti-Semitic comments that she has made that have been reported.
She made anti-Semitic comments?
She has, and comments she made in December that appeared to justify the attacks of October 7th. So I think it's important to take that into account. But with respect to the report itself, we have made clear that we believe that allegations of genocide are unfounded. But at the same time, we are deeply concerned by the number of civilian casualties in Gaza, and that's why we have press the government of Israel on multiple occasions to do everything it can to minimize those civilian casualties.
Yeah, well, she's been getting a lot of death threats and other threats and so on, because people...
Do you guys see the smirk on his face as he was trying to begin to say that? We'll finish it up and we'll go back.
I think she made anti-Semitic comments and so on. Let me just go on.
Hold on. You can't make a comment like that without letting me respond. Obviously, death threats against anyone are inappropriate.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go back to this guy's smirk here.
For a long-standing period of time, opposed the mandate of this special rapporteur, which we believe is not productive. And when it comes to the individual who
Look at that face. Look at that. This guy's just
holds that position,
he's like, yeah, but we're gonna make some things about it.
I can't help but note history of anti-Semitic
Oh my God. Let's show us these quotes.
comments that she has made that have been reported.
She made anti-Semitic comments?
She has, and comments she made in December that appeared to justify the
Irrefutable as
for a long-standing period of time opposed the mandate of this special rapporteur, which we believe is not productive. And when it comes to the individual...
Bam. Yeah. Anyways. Let's take a look at some of the comments, guys. And when asked about the report, Miller accused Albanese of having a history of anti-Semitic comments, so Miller dismissed further questions after a hand reached out of a small dark cloud and stroked his head, and a voice rasped, "Good, my pet. Soon you will be rewarded." And another comment from Dream Joe. Peace is now officially anti-Semitic in the Western world. And back to the main story, Israel's war in Gaza and the West's credibility crisis. This is from Al Jazeera. Western support for Israel is threatening the liberal world order the West had so persistently promoted for decades. Over the past decade and a half, I have attended many meetings and conferences and met many people in Western governments, think tanks, and academia who have been concerned about the rise of autocracies across the world. Many of them believe that authoritative tendencies are the biggest threat to the liberal world order and rules-based system. Yeah, they're autocracies. But I beg to differ. I believe the biggest threat to the liberal world order crimes come from liberal democracies and not their autocratic nemesis. That is because there is a widening chasm between the values Western governments proclaim to uphold and the actual conduct. That has triggered a credibility crisis that threatens to unravel. Man, this is written like crap. All right, moving on to mainstream media, guys. CNN, the top UN court says Israel must take all measures to prevent genocide in Gaza, but stops short of calling for ceasefire. So the UN's top court ordered Israel to prevent genocide against Palestinians in Gaza, but stopped short of calling for Israel to suspend its military campaign in the war-torn enclave as South Africa had requested. In a hearing in The Hague, the Netherlands, on Friday, the International Court of Justice said Israel, quote, must take all measures, end quote, to limit the death and destruction caused by its military campaign, prevent and punish incitement to genocide, and ensure access to humanitarian aid. South Africa has accused Israel of violating international law on genocide written in the wake of the Holocaust and wanted the court to order Israel to cease fire in Gaza. Even if they did order it, do you think they're going to listen? While the ICJ did not order Israel to end its war, the ruling represents a blow to Israel, which had hoped the case would be dismissed outright. Friday's decision related only to South Africa's request for emergency measures, which act like a restraining order while the court considers the full merits of the genocide case, which could take years. Anyways, guys, I got to get on with my day. This is Irnieracing News. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.